You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rokfin, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. With the vastness of the oceans and how much our modern science has not explored some of these levels and these depths, it's not hard to fathom that these creatures could exist, even what we consider to be ancient Paleolithic dinosaur-like creatures.
Yeah, I mean, there are people out there that say, "Oh, he believes plesiosaurs or mosasaurs are still alive and stuff like that." Do I believe it? No, that would be a lie. Do I hope that it's possible? Yes. I mean, who wouldn't, to be perfectly frank? And do I think it's impossible they're still alive? No, because they were still alive at the end of the Cretaceous. See, but the idea is, I mean, the oceans, as you were mentioning, their vastness, only 5% of the ocean floor has been explored. 5% of the floor. That doesn't include the average of 11,000 or more feet above that in terms of the water column. So you've got all that. You've got if plesiosaurs were still alive, you're talking about a species that's entirely marine based, that gives birth to live young, that would not, come crawling ashore to lay eggs like sea turtles do, etc. If one of them came to the surface, they don't stick their head up in this and look around typically like that, like la 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 la, like look at me, like a big giant duck or goose or something like that. Their nostrils are up top here. They just service to breathe like a whale and go back down. So what would you see? You know what I mean? And when I was doing research myself for things, they don't blow, meaning spout like a whale. There's no giant column of water vapor there. When you see a sea turtle or a crocodile surface for air, it's like little bubbles that come up as they're approaching the surface. It's hardly any disturbance at all. So you wouldn't have anything to draw your eye to something like that as well. And they ingest gastroliths, which are stomach stones for buoyancy, which means that when they die and the air comes out of their lungs, they're negatively buoyant. Their bodies would automatically sink. So you're not going to have something bloated and floating on the surface even. So the odds of even finding a carcass before it gets scavenged and torn to pieces and completely, rotted away are, again, very, very small. But, hope springs eternal.
Now, before we get to your very profound recent encounter that you were able to get on film, had you had any other personal encounters with things that you really couldn't explain what they are, even out on the ocean?
Yes. The ocean stuff, everything we're about to talk about, this stuff is all in Monsters and Marine Mysteries. So if everybody wants all the details, they're in there. The photos, the graphics, the drawings, all that stuff. Let me think. I think the first one I had, which I don't want to get into too much detail in it because that's a very harrowing experience and so fantastical that I was there and I don't believe it. But when I was like 19, I had a bad habit during the full moon. I guess I thought I was cool, full moon and it's midnight, all summer. Every time there was a full moon, I would take our Doberman and I would go, we lived in Southwest Philly, and I would go down into a cemetery called Mount Moriah Cemetery and go walk through the cemetery with the dog, And so one time I was doing that, and I guess something was waiting for me or something. And I started hearing this sound, this like sound. And it started getting really creepy, and it sounded like something digging, and you could start to feel it through the soles of your feet, like something was clawing at the earth or something like that. And believe it or not, I got to a certain point and I was right on this gravel path by the edge of this hill, and then something literally burst out of the ground in front of a tombstone about 10 feet in front of me. And if I wasn't 19 and very fit and lean, I might have had a heart attack and died on the spot. Okay. And I stared at it, and I looked right at it, and I blinked multiple times to try and clear my vision to make it go away. And I tried to convince myself that it was a groundhog or a squirrel or a rabbit that took that wrong turn at Albuquerque, as Bugs Bunny used to say, stuff like that. But it wouldn't go away no matter what I tried to do. And I was looking right at it, and it was actually a hand, an actual hand, it was a right hand, gray. It had 4 fingers and a thumb. It was pale, and it had like this weird, like loose sort of like skin, like it was like wrinkly and like saggy a bit. And the nails were very, very jagged, and I guess that was from digging. and it literally burst through the ground. And then it like went like this. Like after it did that, it was like kind of like this. And I think it was resting because it was tired, because soil is pretty heavy and all that. And I was just like terrified, and I literally went like, feet don't fail me now. I actually said that. Feet don't fail me now. I saw it in a Clint Eastwood movie, and I dove down this hill which had a slope like that, and I was running down a hill, and I was so terrified. Everything was moving in slow motion. I mean, I was dodging trees and ducking under branches and leaping over boulders and all this stuff, and it was they were coming at me slow. Otherwise I would have run into something and just killed myself. I was running so fast the dog was choking behind me, being dragged. Okay. And if you're running so fast a Doberman can't keep up with you, you're scared. Okay. Wow. I ran all the way home. I had to stop once when I collapsed in the middle of the forest. I got up, looked back to see if it was coming. If it was, I would have died again of a heart attack. Ran all the way home, whatever. It was a horrible experience. And I never went back, and I have no desire to go back. But when I researched it for the book, I found unexplained murders in the cemetery and a bunch of other stuff. Wow. So
that is crazy.
Not my favorite hangout spot.
Yeah, I can imagine. Jeez.
Yeah. And people say, oh, he's making that up. He was high. He was lying, whatever. You think what you want, okay? I mean, no sane person would I guess people would make up a story like that, but it's like I said, it was so fantastical. I don't want to believe it myself, and I was there. Okay. And the hilarious part was when I got back to the house, I was so terrified. I was grabbing like garlic powder and sprinkling it on myself so I wasn't tasty and stuff, and collecting Bibles and crucifixes and all this stuff like that. And my brothers were mocking me, the two of them, and they were like, come on. He goes, you just imagined it. You made it up. I'm like, nope. And they're like, we're going to go right now. We know the area. We're going to go right to the spot. You're going to show us, and we're going to prove to you that, whatever. And I was like, I'm not going back. I am never going back. No. I said, you guys go. I'll describe the stone to you. It was a big, ugly, old, dark gray granite stone. And I said, and I'll tell, you go. I said, and when you don't come back, and I went, and you won't. I said, I will tell Mom what happened to you. And then they looked at each other, and all of a sudden they didn't want to go.
Right.
So.
Damn.
Which was a wise decision, because I don't know what this thing was, but I got the impression it was looking for a snack, and Max is not on the menu.
That's incredible, and that's what I love so much about this show is people that come on and share these profound experiences, so that others who've had experiences and are too scared, or they don't want to put themselves out there, maybe they'll have the courage to start to share with others, because it's healing in a way, and it helps other people to validate their own stories, right?
See this? Look at this. This is 40 years later almost, and my hand still shakes when I relive it in my head. Okay? That tells you something. All right, that's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. And I've had some scary things happen to me in my life. So,
well, let's get to,
including being shot at. Okay. And that was like nothing compared to this.
Oh, wow. It's all right. Let's get to some of your more recent encounters where you were actually able to commit some of this to video evidence. Tell us about when and where this situation occurred.
Okay. You're talking about for the site. Okay. Let me just give a quick intro then for the site to people. I have been blessed to be able to get some amazing things on video, and have started, after considerable thought, putting out a series of documentaries for everybody to see. I don't put them on YouTube because YouTube just makes money off people and pays peanuts. Literally peanuts, okay? So it is a pay-per-view type of thing, but it is not expensive. The subscription is only $9.99 a month, and if you just want a 2-day rental to watch a video, it's the price of a Starbucks coffee, let's say, or something, okay? But anyway, so but the website is normally maxhawthorne.com, okay? But the site is being revamped, as Chris knows, and it will be a few days. So if you see this and you go on there and you see a black screen, because my guys did not put up a sign like they should have, there's nothing to panic about. What you should do is go to my author site, which is kronosrising.com, Kronos rising.com, and just click on to sign up for the newsletter. Once you're on the newsletter, as soon as the site is revamped and back up live, etc., I'm going to send out a mass email for everybody on the list. You'll be able to go on, check it out,